Alright, y'all, part 2 of the end of Module 2 assessment review video. We're on question number 4. We've got, what is the quotient of the division problem below? 121 divided by 5. This will be no problem for our awesome 6th graders. So, we want to set up our house with the 5 on the outside and 121 on the inside. 5 being our divisor, 121 being our dividend. We're going to use our Does McDonald's Sell Burgers acronym. Okay, our divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. First we want to see our divide. How many times does 5 go into 1? It doesn't. I put a 0 and I move over to the next place value. How many times does 5 go into 12? That's going to be 2 times. Multiply 2 times 5, which is 10. Subtract 12 minus 10, which is 2. Bring down the 1. Now I've got 21 now. And then we go back to the top. How many times does 5 go into our new number 21? That's going to be 4 times. Multiply 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract 21 minus 20 is 1. Whoops. I can't bring anything down because I have nothing left over here, but I have a remainder. In 6th grade, we do not do remainders anymore. We can either have a fraction or we can have a decimal. I'll show you both ways. I will start with the fraction first. If you would like to do a fraction, we're going to keep our whole number 24. We're going to take our leftovers and make it our numerator, and our divisor is always our denominator. So fraction would be 24 and 1/5. I will accept that as an answer. In terms of the decimal, all whole numbers have an invisible decimal at the end. Because of that invisible decimal, I can then add unlimited amount of zeros if I needed to. Before I go any further, this decimal has to go one place, it has to go upstairs to our quotient. Now, we have a remainder here. We can now do the bring down step, so we can bring down the 0 and go back up to the top. How many times does 5 go into 10? Well, that's 2 times. Multiply 2 times 5, which is 10. Subtract 10 minus 10 equals 0. So my fraction is 24 and 1/5. We can have our decimal of 24.2. If you made this into a fraction, it would be the same, 24 and 1/5. So either answer will suffice. Alright, number 5. It says, which expression is modeled by the diagram below? We have a beautiful number line, we have a whole, and then we have little pieces that split it up. Our whole is 3 and 1/4. Okay? Then we have these little pieces of 3/4, and we're seeing how many little pieces are in our whole here. So because 3 and 1/4 is our whole, we want that to be our dividend. So we can look at all of our answers here and see which one has 3/4 as the dividend. If it does not have it as the dividend, meaning the first number, we can automatically take that out as an option. 3 and 1/4 is our dividend, so we're good here. 3/4 is our dividend. That is not 3 and 1/4, so we can eliminate that one. 3 is our whole. That is not 3 and 1/4. We can eliminate that one. We then do 1/4. We can eliminate that one as an option. So the only thing we're left with is a process of elimination. We're taking our whole 3 and 1/4 and we're making it into pieces of 3/4. Number 6, we've got 78.84 divided by 0.12, and they're asking what is the quotient. I'm actually going to do this one on a separate sheet of paper so that we are saving room here, because that is going to take a little bit of space to do. So I'm going to have my piece of paper on the side here. I'm going to put 0.12 on the outside of my house and put 78.84 on the inside of the house. The first thing I have to do is move the decimal in my divisor out. I'm going to move it 2 places to make 12 a whole number. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside, because whatever you do to the outside, you must do the same to the inside. So I'm also going to move this 2 places and then move it straight up to the top. If I rewrite my problem, I have 12 going into 7,884 and decimal. Don't forget the decimal. Alright. We are still going to do our divide, multiply, subtract, bring down method. We also want to add the extra step because 12 is a double-digit divisor that we want to find the multiples of 12. So we're going to do our multiples are 12. We usually start with the first 5 for start. We've got 12, 12 plus 12, that's 24. 24 plus 12 is 36. 36 plus 12 is 48. 48 plus 12 is 60. And we'll just do one more just in case. We've got 72 as our next one. This is our first multiple, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So that we distinguish that those are our multiples of 12. Going back to our problem, we see how many times 12 goes into 7. It does not. We put a 0. See how many times 12 goes into 78. We look at our multiples. Which one gets really close to 78 but not over? It's going to be this one, and that is our 6. So we put a 6 on top. Multiply 6 times 12, which is 72. We then subtract, and we get 6. Bring down the 8. We see how many times 12 goes into 68 without going over 68, and that's 60, and that'll be 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60. We subtract, we get 8 and 4. We're looking at our multiples. Well, 72 is kind of far off from 84, so we're going to do a couple more multiples just to get really close to 84. 2 plus 2 is 4. We have 8. Awesome. That's going to be 7 times. 7 times 12, which is 84. And we subtract and we get 0. Our answer is 657. So we want to put our answer over here, 657. Awesome. I'm going to end this part 2, pick up at part 3 at number 7.